Young mother's life is tragically cut short. South Fulton police are searching for the man who shot and killed 23-year-old Selena Dukes during an argument this Mother's Day weekend.
How many stories like this have I done in the last week? Sisters gunned down, public. Now you have stories of this happening to other races of women. We saw in Colorado Springs, and I'm gonna get to that in another video maybe. The 6 people that were gunned down in Colorado Springs, I think 3 of them were women, at the mass shooting at the home in Colorado Springs. That all happened indoors and in the house, and that was like, don't get me wrong, it's a mass shooting, and I'm not taking away from it. Brothers be getting whacked. I mean, sisters get whacked out anywhere. And these the ones that be marching and protesting. All that marching and protesting for criminals, for known criminals. Like in the case of Rayshard Brooks. A man who had just come home for child cruelty. He had a bunch of women. A man who was in a relationship with a white woman who just come home for child cruelty after 7 years for child cruelty against black kids. And a bunch of sisters out there protesting. Now, if his family wanted to protest and all that, I understand that. His mama. But you had a bunch of black women that didn't know him from a can of paint protesting in the Atlanta area. And I'm sure, without a doubt, that this sister was one of them. I mean, without a doubt. I'm sure if you would have talked to this sister about that situation, she would have, Black Lives Matter, black men are being hunted, and she know that's not the case. And these sisters know that ain't the case. These sisters live in a community. They wouldn't date a dude that let a white guy say something slick to them without getting punched in the face. I'm gonna repeat. The average sister in the hood wouldn't even give a dude the time of day if it was a rumor around the hood. Yeah, you know, this white dude got all up in his face. It told him off and he just walked away. Words from a white dude that went unmet with violence. Ain't no sister in the hood dating you. You a buster. So they damn sure know you ain't being hunted by white people. They know that that's not happening. And they know they know that a lot of the brothers in the hood are unrepentant, self-proclaimed, will get mad if you say they not, thugs. And every goddamn day, and even the days I don't do it, I could do this story 5-6 times a day.
South Fulton police are searching for the man who shot and killed 23-year-old Selena Dukes during an argument this Mother's Day weekend. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor tells us how it all started.
Selena's family tells me that she came here to this South Fulton apartment with a friend to get the friend's baby. That's when, in defending that friend, that she lost her own life.
It was kind of like, wow, right here in my back door, or better yet, front door. I was blown away.
Actually, she was blown away. That was a poor choice of words. Why is she smiling? The lack of compassion that we have. We have so much compassion for criminals, but not much for victims. And that's something just bizarre, man. It's bizarre. I'm sorry. Because I keep getting, why are you laughing, man? You laugh too much during the video. You know, I laughed to keep from crying. Did you see that video last night of that young brother in Philly? I did. Man, I wanted to bawl. Have an ugly cry over that one. I laughed to keep from crying. And maybe that's what this sister's doing. So let me give her a break.
It's kind of like, wow, right here in my back door, or better yet, front door. I was blown away.
Residents at the old Sandtown Vista apartments, now the Slate, are disturbed about the violence that South Fulton police say happened here on Mother's Day weekend. Candles mark the spot where the young mother, Selena Dukes, was killed. We talked to one resident who heard the fatal shot.
I just heard a shot, one shot.
Did it ever occur to you that someone may have lost their life?
No, not at all, not in this complex.
Family members returned to the scene and tell us Miss Dukes came here with a friend to pick up the friend's baby from the child's father.
That's a highly volatile situation. And women do it all the time, and men do it all the time. Family members do it all the time. Police officers do it all the time. This is probably the number one way police officers get murdered. Getting involved in something domestic between a man and a woman. And cops do this all the time. Shout out to all the cops that show up when sisters and their thug boyfriends, or even if they're not thugs, just, entitled, emboldened, overly emotional, irrational boyfriends and baby daddies get into something, and the cops show up and do this stuff. This is tough work that this sister did. You going over there in a custody battle over a baby?
This year in Utah, 16 people have been killed as the result of domestic violence.
Yeah, we want to continue our team coverage with Jim Spiewak tonight. Jim, you're at the memorial of officers who died in the line of duty.
Yeah, as you can see, those plaques are on the wall behind me. Those are of the officers who have lost their lives while serving here in Utah. I did talk with the police chief a little bit earlier today. He says, listen, it is the people many times that are so close to you that can really get under your skin and push your buttons. So when an officer arrives to that domestic violence call, it can be very volatile and very dangerous.
More officers die in the line of duty responding to domestic violence calls than any other type of call.
In Jen Oxborough's line of work, she sees it more than she wants to. As the head of the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition, she knows how quickly an incident can turn deadly.
And that's typically because the perpetrator of violence has lost control and often doesn't have a lot left to lose in these situations.
Jen is careful to not place any blame, but believes an ending like what happened today is preventable. Intervention before violence is one way. She says more needs to be done to work with people who need help.
We're failing across the board. The loss here is enormous, and the ripple effect is profound.
As the former Salt Lake County Sheriff and Police Chief in Moab, Jim Winder knows the volatile nature of a domestic violence call.
People's emotions can get to the boiling point very, very quickly, and they make decisions that they often regret for the rest of their lives.
Ms. Dukes came here with a friend to pick up the friend's baby from the child's father. South Fulton police say the mother and father got into an altercation and Ms. Dukes got involved by trying to defuse the situation. Police and the family say that's when 33-year-old Deontay Gore retrieved a gun and allegedly used it, shooting the young mother in the chest. The fatal blow is disturbing to many.
That's definitely a better way to solve problems. Communication is key in any situation. Again, I've been through domestic violence, so I kind of understand the lines that have to be drawn when you are passionate about something. And when you're passionate about something, you kind of have to say, no, I have to step away.
Family members say this is their second tragedy. 2 years ago on Father's Day weekend, Selena's baby, little Kinsley May Dukes, was killed in another instance of senseless gun violence.
So this girl's baby was shot 2 years ago and killed. I mean, like, look, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. All I can say is what I've been telling you. Send me comparable stories of this happening to white people. Especially, I say white people, because that's what y'all talk about all the time. White people, white people, white people. Send me the story of a white woman that was gunned down 2 years after her baby was gunned down in another incident. A totally unrelated incident. Neither one of them gunned down by the father or the spouse or the baby daddy or the boyfriend. Just two other men shot the mother and the daughter in 2 different years. 2 years apart. Send me those stories. I'm looking for them. I can't find them. Need your help.
2 years ago on Father's Day weekend, Selena's baby, little Kinsley May Dukes, was killed in another instance of senseless gun violence. The city of South Fulton has issued murder warrants for Deontay Gore. They say if you have any information about where Gore is, please give them a call. In the city of South Fulton, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
After a violent Mother's Day weekend in Philadelphia, police are asking the community for help in finding more than a dozen suspects. A deadly robbery is among the cases. The victim, Tyree Roundtree. A gunman shot and killed him in Frankfurt. Alicia Roberts is live at police headquarters with the story of a father who won't be able to see his young daughter grow up. Alicia?
Jess, this story so tragic in its ending. Police telling us Tyree Roundtree was on his way home from his job at a construction site early Saturday morning when $1,500 and a single gunshot ended it all. Tonight.
No, it wasn't $1,500 and a single gunshot that ended his life. Let me fix that for you, white lady. A Negro used a gun to end his life over $1,500. See, I fixed it.
Jess, this story so tragic in its ending. Police telling us Tyree Roundtree was on his way home from his job at a construction site early Saturday morning when $1,500 and a single gunshot ended it all. Tonight, Tyree's family is asking for your help to find his killer as they privately grieve. Mother's Day weekend proved to be violent across Philadelphia. 25 people were shot, 7 dying from their injuries, including a 31-year-old father to a 1-year-old little girl, Tyree Roundtree.
Let me fix that again for you, white lady. Mother's Day proved to be fatal in the black areas of Philadelphia, where X amount of people were shot and X amount of people were killed. Including Tyree Roundtree, who was one of X amount of victims, all black, who were shot and killed in the city of Philadelphia over the Mother's Day weekend.
Mother's Day weekend proved to be violent across Philadelphia. 25 people were shot, 7 dying from their injuries, including a 31-year-old father to a 1-year-old little girl, Tyree Roundtree.
Upon arrival, they observed the victim lying on the highway, suffering from a gunshot wound to the back.
Police say Roundtree was leaving his job at a construction site on Granite Street around 9 a.m. Saturday when a coworker attempted to rob him.
I've been around. I've worked on jobs with thugs and homies and hoodlums. And if he cashed his check, and if dudes knew he had money, he was definitely a marked man. It don't guarantee you're going to get robbed, because some dudes, they know who to mess with. But yeah, if brothers know you have something, they're going to take it from you. And this is what's responsible for most of the Asian attacks. I wonder if you guys really know that most of the Asian attacks are situations like this. What they're calling anti-Asian attacks and Asian hate are this. So this could be classified as an anti-black attack, because it's the same thing. The same exact thing that happens when this happens to an Asian person, they call it an anti-Asian attack. Now, yes, the perpetrator is black and the person is Asian, but 80% of these things in this country, the perpetrator is black. So black people, the victim being black and the perpetrator being black is kind of like the default. So basically, this was an anti-black attack. But I've been in these situations, man, when you're around brothers and somebody ain't get as much money as they thought they should have got, or somebody check was short, or somebody didn't work enough hours, or you getting more hours, or you got a raise, and it's all type of hatred. And listen, man, I'll tell y'all a story time, man. I was working at Home Depot, and I was working in the lumber building material department. And we had a manager at the time who was, just like, man, do your work, and, you can come in when you want, you can stay however long you want. It got to the point like that after a while, where we was just doing that. We was coming in early and leaving late. And I worked the 2 to 11 shift. And there were guys that would come in at 10, and they would do the overnight shift. They would unload the trucks in the back. But they couldn't work overtime because of their shift. They couldn't come in early and they couldn't leave late because the store opened up. When their shift was over, the store was opened up, and the opening shift would come in, and the closing shift would be, we would still be there when they came in. So they didn't have an opportunity to do overtime. So we're getting 60 hours a week, 55 hours a week every week. Our checks are looking fat. The normal Home Depot check gonna be $800 every 2 weeks. Our checks was, because time and a half, overtime hours are time and a half. So whatever you make, say you make $13 an hour, you get time and a half, you make $20 an hour now. So our checks were looking ridiculous. I mean, $1,500, $1,800 checks. And their checks would be $800, the normal check, because they couldn't work overtime. Do you know that one of the dudes on the overnight shift would rant up and down and complain because they would come in at 10 and we would leave at 11, so there would be an hour overlap, and complain about everything. This ain't done, that ain't done, that ain't done, and tell the manager and our department manager, and complain about everything, and basically hate on us in the open. And then when that didn't work, he went to the store manager and complained, and not only got the policy changed to where now not only people who work in lumber can't work overtime hours, and if you work overtime, he got it to the point where if you worked overtime, you get written up. So you had to make sure you work 39 and a half hours a week, or you get written up when he was done with it. But he got the entire store. It became a big thing where, and then the manager started looking at the overtime, and then it became a big thing, and then they changed the policy. One dude, man, he couldn't be happy for us. Like, man, y'all killing it, man. I need to switch to I need to switch my shift to y'all shift. Nah, he was just like, nah, y'all making money. I can't see that. I'm not making money. I'm going to ruin it for y'all. I've been on jobs with brothers, and that's the PC story. I got way more stories of being on jobs with brothers and the catty, hateful stuff they do on job sites. And I was canvassing. So like these places, when you working on job sites, like construction sites, there's a bunch of brothers. The Mexicans gonna stick together and the brothers gonna stick together. So you're not gonna really have too many interactions with the Mexicans. But if you work construction, the brothers, it's gonna be like on some hood type, jail type mentality. It's gonna be like kind of like a jail type environment when you working on job sites with brothers, doing things like that. Like I demoed houses for a while. I worked, and it was, all, like hood type brothers. It's kind of like being locked up for 8 hours a day. So this brother let it be known that he had $1,500 on this person. He was in trouble, man.
Arrival, they observed the victim lying on the highway, suffering from a gunshot wound to the back.
Police say Roundtree was leaving his job at a construction site on Granite Street around 9 a.m. Saturday when a coworker attempted to rob him.
The decedent had in his possession, we believe, the day's wages for the workers. All right, he was responsible for paying the day laborers.
Police have identified the suspect as 25-year-old Naheem Williamson.
Okay, so he had the money to pay the day laborers. So it wasn't his check. He didn't cash his check. He just had money. And the guy probably looked at it like, oh, that's free money. That ain't even your money. And probably felt entitled to it if he was going to rob him. Like, if he was going to rob him for it, he was looking at it like, oh, you got to get this up, because this ain't even your money. So if the dude didn't like immediately give it up, yeah, he's going to blow his head off.
He has 8 prior arrests.
More than 48 hours later, Williamson remains on the run.
We are praying constantly for his justice.
As the family of Tyree Roundtree is left to grieve.
He was loved tremendously.
Tyree's sister remembering her older brother's ability to see the good in people.
If he ever came into the room, he was the person that uplifted everyone.
As she, along with 6 other families, are now tasked to bury a loved one gone too soon.
He did not deserve to die. Like, his time was just cut too short. And it's going to affect a lot of people ongoing. Like, pretty much no one is going to be the same.
And police say Williamson was last seen at the Frankfurt Transportation Center wearing a yellow hoodie and a black mask. They are asking anyone with information on where he might be to give them a call. Reporting live outside police headquarters, Alicia Roberts, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Alicia. Guys, this is why I do these stories on these people, because even though I've dibbled and dabbled a lot in my life and done, my fair share of things on the other side of the law. I mean, I started stealing. I was like a master thief at like 13. Kleptomaniac. Couldn't leave a store. And I didn't need that stuff. I had everything I needed. All my needs were taken care of. I wanted to be bad. I wanted to do bad stuff. I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friends. Smoking with cigarettes. But I've worked a lot, man. I would consider myself a blue-collar guy, a working guy. Just like I work on YouTube, that's how I worked on my jobs. I worked a lot of hours, man. Did a lot of tough, manly jobs, like, demoing houses, things like that. Worked in retail a lot, just like regular normal guys. So I'm not on here trying to act like some friggin' thug or nothing like that. I got a lot of compassion and kinship and, with the working class people in the world, man. The people that get up and go to work every day. The people that at the end of the 2 weeks, at the end of the week, trying to make ends meet. And it's a sentiment that's very false about black on black crime, that it's just thugs killing each other. You know? Who cares? It's just a bunch of thugs. Let them kill each other. And nothing, and I mean nothing, could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. I would say half of the people murdered in Black America every year, yeah, they're thugs or hoodlums or had something to do with it or what was going on in their situation. But then there's the other half. The kids playing in the yard, the women driving down the street, the guys like this guy who was preyed on by a savage who was like, yo, yeah, I see you every day at work, but I'll still kill you over $1,500. Like, so, like, you're not this isn't a stranger. It's a guy he saw every day at work. A brother whose story probably knew he had a 1-year-old at the house. Still just like blew his brains out, left him on the highway. To what? To be on the run with $15,000 until you get caught by the U.S. Marshals? Like in that second when he robbed the guy, and the guy didn't have to struggle. I want you guys to also understand another thing. It's another notion that's wrong. To think that, oh, well, if the person got killed during the robbery, they must have struggled. Or they must have didn't give the money up. Nothing could be further from the truth. These black guys have seen a whole year of no matter what they do. In Philly, Walter Wallace, he beat up his parents, knocked his father out, beat his mother to a bloody pulp. Someone called the cops. He grabbed a knife and chased the cops up and down the street until they shot him. White liberals, I'm not talking about the white Kensington crowd that's shooting up dope in on the street corner in broad daylight. I'm talking about the white liberals, the ones that don't speak to these niggas, the ones whose hearts jump out their chest when they see these niggas on the street. Literally burned Philly to the ground in honor of Walter Wallace. So you think that the brothers in Philly see that and they like, man, if you're a criminal, if you're a thug, because a lot of these brothers are thugs, everybody ain't gonna be everybody wouldn't be at Harvard if they would have had parents with money, or everybody wouldn't have been a CEO of a Silicon Valley startup if they would have had a better school. Some of these niggas is thugs and gangsters and criminals. If you're one of those and you see that, okay, if I get in a situation with a cop, no matter what I do, if the cop uses force commiserate to my force, he matches my force, white liberals, the tax base of my city, and black people, the people I prey on and terrorize, are going to burn the city down in my honor? That was a terrible message to send the thugs in Philly. It was a terrible message to send the thugs in Atlanta. It gives them a sense of emboldening. It emboldens them. It gives them a sense of arrogance, a sense of entitlement. So now when you have people that you have already gangsters and thugs and hoodlums, now they're entitled, now they're arrogant. Now there's no bail. They'll get out the next day. Now they know you're trying to reform the criminal justice system. Now they know that the cops are the villains, not them. It was a terrible message 2020 sent to thugs and hoodlums and gangsters and killers all over America, but especially Black America, because all of the poster children for the pro-thug, anti-police movement were Black. There were no white poster children for the anti-police movement and the pro-thug movement. There were no Hispanics. Adam Toledo was just a few weeks ago. And you'll see the reverberations of that in the Hispanic community in Chicago. But it was a terrible message that 2020 and this is so far 2021 is sent to Black thugs and Black criminals. And no one should be surprised that we're seeing what we're seeing now.
All right, now to brand new information. We're learning about a shooting on Detroit's west side.
As police hunt for the suspected shooter seen in this security camera video, we've learned the victim was a beloved member of the community. Victor Williams is live at Cast Tech tonight, where Dennis Smith touched a lot of lives. Victor.
Yes, Kimberly and Devin, this was a man that was very well admired, loved, and really cared for others. So many people are going to miss Dennis Smith, or as he was more affectionately known as Coach Smitty.
Heartbreaking.
Family and friends are still trying to process the untimely death of Cast Tech football coach Dennis Smith, a.k.a. Coach Smitty.
When I got the word, I was actually on vacation in the Outer Banks, and it hit me like a bag of rocks.
The 46-year-old's life was tragically cut short when he was shot and killed on Livernois Avenue on May 5th. Here's surveillance footage that shows the suspect firing the weapon. He was also clearly seen on camera inside of a restaurant before the shooting took place.
What could have happened to cause this man to shoot down this beloved football coach? So far in this video, we've seen a young mother who already lost a child to gun violence 2 years ago. A construction worker with a 1-year-old. And now a football coach. And I can do this every day. And this ain't all of it. I could do these videos. I could make 5 or 6 of these videos every day. That's why I tell you guys, support the channel, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App. So I can make more videos, show you all of this. It's so much more. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm going every day.
The 46-year-old's life was tragically cut short when he was shot and killed on Livernois Avenue on May 5th. Here's surveillance footage that shows the suspect firing the weapon. He was also clearly seen on camera inside of a restaurant before the shooting took place.
He was much more than a football coach.
All Maria Adams-Lawnon can do now is remember the good times she had with the coach.
His heart was truly for the kids. And for the community and what he could do to make it a better place.
While Greg Wilson is worried about the huge absence that will now be in the hearts of the many players he mentored.
He's going to be greatly missed. It's going to be a big void to fill. Probably going to have to be some guys like myself and other guys around to step up and make sure those kids are in good hands, because they're going to need them right now in this time.
Everybody's so calm when a brother like this gets killed. I'd love to see some anger, some tears, some rage, some talk about accountability for the guy who did this. Not turn yourself in, but I hope you rot in hell, bastard. Like that mom in Atlanta did the other night. I hope you rot in hell. Why is this brother so calm? Well, because the guy's still out there. And he's probably from the streets too. This brother's probably from the hood too. And you know, you don't do that. And it's not, you don't do that when it's criminals. You only do that when it's cops. But it's just such a different tone black people have when it's an unrepentant, thuggish criminal they know very little about, except for that he's a thuggish criminal and he was in an interaction with police and he resisted. When they know the person, they know how great of a guy the person is, how great of a woman the person is, just there's no anger, there's no rage.
It's going to be a big void to fill. Probably going to have to be some guys like myself and other guys around to step up and make sure those kids are in good hands, because they're going to need them right now in this time.
And Coach Smitty leaves behind 2 children of his own, so you can only imagine the heartache that they must be going through. Victor Williams, Local 4.
So very sorry. Okay, Victor, thanks.